Hello everybody, this is Bison Crumbs and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing November of 2023 as we continue this journey of catching up. The current day is going to be April of 2024, so we have quite a bit to catch up on, but all that said, we might as well start. We are doing November of 2023, which is also when I started doing goals. So this was trying to keep up with brushing my teeth and providing a financial reward for that. I eventually will add my push-ups and sit-ups. I used to keep track of this stuff in a dedicated app, but I realized I just wasn't keeping up with the app. The app in general wasn't becoming as useful as I was hoping for. So I switched it over to putting it into YNAB. I haven't quite decided how I should be doing this because right now it is 25 cents per day per these activities. So in the month of November, I brushed my teeth. At least by the time I started, there was more days. But because I tend to be bad with brushing my teeth on a regular basis, I started keeping track in YNAB. But the only way I have found to do that is to be doing this like kind of transaction here, which isn't quite right since it's not actually subtracting this money out of my account. It's just keeping track of the days. But I also can't add money because we're not adding money into my account. Ideally, I would want this to be kept into a special savings account where I'm just moving over this money per week or whatever, while still keeping track of the days that I actually do this. Because YNAB is something I check nightly before going to bed, I can just go into this goal tracking and make sure I've done it for the day. And it's definitely helped keep track of it a lot more than I was with the previous app. So that's why I want it on YNAB, but also I can't be switching money over to a separate account per day. It's just not really going to work out like that because just putting over a quarter a day doesn't really help. But I'm trying to figure out how to exactly do this. If there's any ideas, go ahead and put them in the comments down below where I can keep track on YNAB but not have this account be super negative because this is money I'm going to be putting off into savings for later use for myself, for treating myself. And I'm going to try to cut back on general treating myself to focus on actually getting my goals accomplished and doing stuff like that. Maybe even add monthly goals of if I manage to do a certain amount within a month, I can add that to the cost kind of thing. Maybe like $10 reward for actually doing it every day a month. But with all that said, I think I'm just not going to touch this goal amount and continue on because I don't know the best way of settling this amount. And when I tried looking online, I could not find anybody else trying to do YNAB like this, but that was also a brief search. So I will definitely be checking again here, but I need to finish these videos. So holding myself to account is just, I've got to keep working through this. With all that said, let's start here. So for the month of November, I made a total of $1,837.82 in cash coming in. Of that, $1,658 was from my actual job, and the rest was a lot of interest accounts that I've been accumulating, and specifically Yada, which I had a bunch of boxes and stuff saved up, and that's going to get a whole separate video coming here soon. I did all that, and then I also cashed in all of my credit card rewards in November. So all that totaled almost $200. But then from last month, we had a negative amount of about $1,500. So that ends up putting us at the amount of ready to assign as $267.38. For now, I'm going to skip the goals and see what I can do about that later. And we'll start with basic living. So my half of rent is $500. Pet rent is $12.50. Pest control is $250. The internet is my half being $69.99. Electricity was $24.18. Gas was $3.34. Water was $9.37. Trash was $5. Sewer was $11.78. And utility service fee was another $2.50. which puts us at negative $348 already. Awesome. Canva Pro we can hide since it was just that 1 month. Phone bill, my part is $35 per month. Hulu and Disney is $26.74, which is up from the last month. They went up by $5. And then YouTube Premium is still at $14.97. And FlexPay membership is $14.99, which is just a service to split my rent into 2 payments to make it easier on my wallet. The monthly membership fee is $15. Ford Escape, I'm back to paying my parents per month, so that was $184 there. And Dooney and the wife, so that's my cat who had all his vet bills paid for by my wife, and I'm just paying her back per month. The last 2 months were a little bit higher, so it was $191 per month, and we're almost done with that. Yearly subscriptions, I get to do my license and registration, so that is $314.30. In an attempt to resell, this is my eBay money, where anything that is shipped out gets taken away from the profits, and whatever's left over, I just take directly out for myself. So that's $323. And a big spending month for my second channel. That was $135.95. I guess I'm gonna have to keep saying it, but this is definitely an account that I have way overspent in 2023 to do nothing with. So it is an account I definitely have to actually start creating content for, seeing if I can get to a point of monetization in general. But then separately, I just have to cut all this spending out, pretty much all of it, so that I can more focus on the things that matter in my budget, which is definitely not that channel that I'm doing nothing with and is just a sinkhole at this point. We're going to see how much I spent over the last couple of months as we catch up, but going forward here in April, I'm going to be spending little, if any, money on that account until I can do something with it. Moving on, we go to everyday spending. We have gas at $92.08. A little bit higher than last month, but not by too much. Sweet Stop, $17.96. This month was definitely a little bit overspent, and I think that was just because of the holidays. And that was just because of a limited edition Mountain Dew flavor. I bought 3 bottles because they were on sale at the local Casey's. So that was $11 of that, and then my normal spending of around $5 on sweets for myself. Laundry, I definitely found out that doing laundry takes a lot of money out pretty fast. So I had to add another $15 into there. And then surprise merch, along with the limited edition Mountain Dew Game Fuel flavor, was a limited edition merch line between one of my favorite video game series, which is Halo. They did a revamp of a collaboration they did back in the day. So they put out a merch line for that, which was surprising to me. I guess it was news to some of the other people I've talked to. But in the end, I didn't love it, but I did end up buying the sweatshirt because I liked it enough. And that's kind of what started my sweatshirt hoodie stint, I guess. I started really digging sweatshirts, and I got it before it sold out, and I actually really liked it. I was never huge into sweatshirts. I liked jackets more, something that you can take off easier at any point. I didn't realize it also glows in the dark. That was pretty cool, and I've worn it quite a few times, so I am getting my use out of it. Eventually I'll retire it before it gets too crazy degraded, but I knew I shouldn't have bought it, but I am kind of happy that I did. Our groceries, we spent $103.29. Fast food solo, I spent a little bit more on myself this month again. And then food for 2, last month we spent $100, so this month we have gone down to put it at $83.36. Between groceries and food for 2, sign last month was $176, so still equaling about the same around that $200 mark. We can definitely lower these amounts, but that will be a conversation between us. So we move on to entertainment. So in the month of November, I dragged my wife to a concert over in Council Bluffs. Between the 2 tickets, it was $30. And then beforehand, we ate at a little sushi restaurant. And that was $36.44. Comic books. I am really into the Monsterverse or the new American Godzilla movies in general. They did a Kickstarter for a new book, a new comic book that ties into the general universe. So I got in on that and then in general added a couple more comic books I am trying to cut most of my comic book spending again since it has become a bigger category in the last couple of months of 2023. Usually I don't spend a whole lot on comic books anymore. It was more of a thing I did in the past, but a lot of that was on that Godzilla thing, and then it ended up being $112.08. And then board games was paying for the shipping on a board game that I bought on Kickstarter a couple months back. I had to pay for the shipping a little bit later, so that was $286. Don't touch self-improvement. I don't need to touch investing. I just took out the 123 for the Roth since I'm not going to be funding that. And then untouchable VCU, so that's my credit union amount that just stays in there for membership. And then 6-month rent. I had to minus the $27 to make it even with the amount that was actually in that account. So $50.83. Honeymoon is just my wife and I's joint account and the money she puts into it plus the interest that that account makes. It's not making a whole lot, so in the new year we're probably going to have to look into getting an account that does higher interest, but we do have a Chase joint account just to have money set in a place that is more of a national branch to get money out of. In case we're ever on a coast or anything, we can just pull money out of our joint account. So travel eating, this was more of a sweet stop, but on our way up to my family, my extended family, we stopped at a coffee shop slash gas station and we spent $35.68 there. And vacation destination just keeps adding money into it. There's a certain percent out that I take of my paychecks, and that just goes directly into that. And because I didn't touch it in these months, I'm not going to touch it now. Probably when we catch up, I'll be taking a little bit out to kind of even this ready to assign amount, but I haven't quite decided on that yet. Microtransactions for this month was $13.12, and then gift cards. These gift cards were bought for Christmas. There was Black Friday deals on both of them, so I ended up spending $200 between the two gift cards I bought for $100 to get all the rewards and stuff with them. That was an extra $200 I did not. Dinner dates. So for our date day, we did $138.37. And then extra love is just money I've spent on my wife. That's outside of the norm. That was $35. Nothing here, nothing here. Wish saplings. That's money in a separate account that's just slowly adding to a sapling. This month I spent $28.67 on cat litter and then $70 on shots for the little cat. So last month the $13 was actually just a microchip half. So we have to spend $13 every year to get his microchip renewed. And then every year we do take him to the vet, which is the $70 for my half to actually get him his shots updated. So that's why it was so cheap for the shots the last month. Maybe I'll change that to shots and microchips. General repairing. This was repairing stuff around the house. And I bought a new battery for my laptop. My laptop was definitely on its last leg with the battery, and we changed that out, and now it's working pretty great. It used to have to be connected to the wall directly to be used, but now I can take it to work and work on things during my lunch break. So that's really cool. And then cleaning supplies. It's just cleaning supplies around the house that we need more of. So that was $16.99. And then paying back, we can subtract this $19. My mom paid me back for a dinner that we went in on, and one of my wife's friends paid me back for buying tickets to actually a different Godzilla movie, which was Godzilla Minus One. It was a limited time theater release, but it was a super good movie, and I would highly recommend it. I believe it's going to be coming on Blu-ray in this coming year, and it actually won the Oscar back in March. So, Oscar nominated, Oscar won. It won an Oscar for Best Picture, but it was a tremendous story and period piece. So, it was super cool, and I would highly recommend it even if you don't have a huge interest in Godzilla. It's definitely a different vibe than the American movies. So, be prepared for some captivating human stories along with Godzilla himself. But then interest and fees, half of this was again my City Double cash card that I am behind on, and then the rest was just the fees associated with each time that Flex pays for my bills and I pay them back. They charge a 1% fee on the rent that they divide in two. So we hit the end of the month. As I continue to dig this hole, especially during these holiday months, which I usually do every year, and something I'm really trying to get better on, but these holiday months really take it out of me, and I end up spending way too much money in general. I definitely overspent for Halloween this year compared to other years. 2024 will hopefully be my year where I catch up on my negatives and only go for the positives. And I guess that's where we're going to leave it today. So I hope you guys are all having a good one, because this has been a bison's journey of making crumbs on the prairie, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.